The year was 1994, the FIFA World Cup, Ireland versus Mexico. The cameras were rolling when John Aldridge completely lost it. He screamed at officials. He had to be held back from fighting them. The whole world watched a footballer have a complete meltdown on live television. That man is now almost 70 years old. What happened to him after that moment changed everything. John William Aldridge was born in Liverpool on 18 September 1958. He started playing football in the most humble way possible. No fancy academy, no youth team scouts, just a lad kicking a ball around South Liverpool, a non-league club that most people had never heard of. This was the mid-1970s. Football was different then. Players could work their way up from nothing. In 1979, at age 20, Aldridge got his first proper break. Newport County signed him for just £3,500. That was nothing, even back then. But John had something special. He could score goals. In his first season, he netted 14 goals in 38 games. Newport County won the Welsh Cup and got promoted to the 3rd Division. A year later, they reached the quarter-finals of the European Cup Winners' Cup. Aldridge was making things happen. During his time at Newport County, John played 198 games and scored 87 goals. That is almost one goal every 2 games. For a lower division club, that was incredible. Bigger clubs started to notice. In 1984, Oxford United came calling. They paid Newport County for Aldridge's services. This move would change his life forever. At Oxford United, John became a goal machine. He helped them win back-to-back promotions. First, they won the 3rd Division in 1983 to 84. Then they won the 2nd Division in 1984 to 85. Aldridge was the top scorer in the 2nd Division that year with 30 goals. But the biggest moment came in 1985 to 86 when Oxford United won the League Cup. It was John's first major English trophy. He scored 72 goals in 114 games for Oxford. The big clubs were watching. Liverpool Football Club was the biggest club in England at that time. They had just lost Ian Rush, their star striker. They needed a replacement. In 1987, they paid £750,000 for John Aldridge. For a lad who started in non-league football, this was a dream come true, but dreams can become nightmares very quickly. John made his Liverpool debut on 21st February 1987. He scored on his full debut against Southampton. The fans loved him immediately. He was one of their own, a Scouser playing for the Scousers. In the 1987-88 season, Aldridge scored 26 league goals and finished as the First Division's top scorer. Liverpool won the championship. The team went 29 games without defeat. John was living the dream, but football can be cruel. The 1989 FA Cup final against Wimbledon would haunt John for years. Liverpool were losing 1-0. They got a penalty. Aldridge had scored all 11 of his penalties that season. This should have been easy, but Wimbledon goalkeeper Dave Beesant had been watching. He knew where John always put his penalties. Beesant saved it. Liverpool lost the final. They missed out on the double. John was devastated. The pressure was enormous, but Aldridge showed his character the following year. Liverpool reached the FA Cup final again, this time against Everton. John opened the scoring in a 3-2 victory. He had bounced back from the worst moment of his career. That took real mental strength. In just over 2 seasons at Liverpool, he made 104 appearances and scored 63 goals. Then something unexpected happened. In 1989, Liverpool sold John to Real Sociedad in Spain for £1 million. This was huge news. Real Sociedad had not signed a non-Basque player for decades. Their policy was to only sign players from the Basque region. John was breaking down barriers that had stood for generations. Life in Spain was hard for the Aldridge family. Some fans did not accept him. There was insulting graffiti at the stadium. One fan even spat on the ground when John walked past, but he kept scoring goals. In his first season, he scored 16 goals in 28 La Liga games. In his second season, he scored 17 goals in 35 games. Despite the hostility, John proved that talent has no nationality. He scored 40 goals in 75 games for Real Sociedad. The cultural differences became too much. John's family struggled to adapt to life in the Basque country. In 1991, he asked for a transfer. Tranmere Rovers, back on Merseyside, signed him for £250,000. John was coming home. He was 32 years old, but still had plenty of goals left in him. At Tranmere Rovers, John became a legend. He scored 40 goals in his first season, equalling the club's goal-scoring record. Over Over his career with Tranmere, he scored 140 goals in 248 games. His goals helped Tranmere achieve their highest ever league positions. They finished in the top 6 of the second tier 3 times in the 1990s. John was the driving force behind everything good that happened at the club. In 1996, John became player manager at Tranmere Rovers. He continued playing until 1998, scoring a brace in his final professional game against Wolverhampton Wanderers. As a manager, he guided Tranmere to the League Cup final in 2000. They lost to Leicester City, but reaching the final was a massive achievement for a club of Tranmere's size. During that final, John was involved in another controversial incident. He slapped Leicester's Theo Zagorakis after Zagorakis applauded the referee's decision to send off a Tranmere player. John was charged with misconduct by the FA. He said he did it because he felt Zagorakis had disrespected his player. This showed John's fierce loyalty to his team. But let's go back to that moment in 1994 that started this story. Ireland were playing Mexico at the World Cup in Orlando, Florida. The heat was stifling. Ireland were losing 2-0. Manager Jack Charlton wanted to bring John on as a substitute, but FIFA officials delayed the substitution for 6 minutes. John and Charlton launched into expletive-laden tirades that were clearly audible on television. John had to be physically restrained from confronting the officials. When John finally got on the pitch, he scored a crucial goal in the 84th minute. Despite losing 2-1, that goal proved vital. Ireland qualified for the knockout phase on goal difference. All 4 teams in the group finished with the same points and goal difference. Ireland progressed because they had scored 1 more goal than Norway. FIFA fined him $2,500 and Charlton £10,000. But it was worth it. John's international career with Ireland was remarkable. He was eligible to play for Ireland through the granny rule because his great-grandmother was from Athlone. He earned 69 caps and scored 19 goals. He played in 3 major tournaments: Euro 1988, the 1990 World Cup, and the 1994 World Cup. He was 1 goal shy of Frank Stapleton's 20-goal record for Ireland. After retiring from management in 2001, John moved into broadcasting and punditry. He became a regular contributor to Radio City 96.7, providing commentary on Liverpool matches. He also appears on LFC TV for match analysis and phone-in shows. John found a new way to stay connected to the game he loved. In 2006, John gained media recognition in Ireland by appearing in and winning RTE's charity You're a Star competition. Despite not having a natural singing voice, he raised money for Temple Street Children's Hospital. This showed that John was willing to use his fame for good causes. He remains actively involved in local football as a patron of AFC Liverpool, a non-league club established by Liverpool FC fans in 2008. John wrote his autobiography, John Aldridge, My Story, which was published in 1999. The book offered his personal perspective on his career. He was also allegedly involved in the news of the world hacking scandal in the mid-2000s, though he expressed confusion as to why he would be targeted. So where is John Aldridge now? At 66 years old, he lives quietly, but remains connected to football. He still provides punditry and commentary. He still supports charitable causes. He is still a patron of AFC Liverpool. John never became a household name like some footballers, but he carved out a remarkable career through pure determination. His career statistics tell the story. 329 Football League goals rank him 6th all-time in English football history. Some sources cite him as having 474 goals in 882 games, which would make him British football's record goal scorer. The exact numbers vary depending on how you count different competitions, but there is no doubt that John Aldridge was one of the most prolific strikers in football history. John's legacy is not just about goals. He was a pioneer who broke down barriers at Real Sociedad. He was a passionate player who sometimes let his emotions get the better of him, but that passion was also his greatest strength. It drove him to succeed at every level of football, from non-league to the First Division, from the Third Division to the World Cup. John Aldridge proved that with enough determination, anything is possible. The man who had that meltdown in 1994 is still the same passionate person today. He just channels that passion differently now, through his media work, his charity efforts, and his continued love for Liverpool Football Club. John Aldridge may be almost 70, but his love for football burns as bright as ever.